The NHL is entering into a very interesting time as, of course, the cap is going to continue to skyrocket up, and we are seeing some massive deals get handed out and signed. And, the most recent one there was, of course, Kirill Kaprizov getting that massive historic contract extension from the Minnesota Wild, giving him an 8-year deal with a $17 million cap hit per season, which is just insane. And I believe with the way it's structured with the bonuses, it can go up a little more as well as the years go on. But the point being, it's about an 8-year deal with a $17 million cap hit, the biggest in NHL history by a pretty large margin. But the point being, this is the way the NHL is headed. We're going to see some more massive deals signed, and of course, even a guy like Connor McDavid will more than likely, if he wants to, end up breaking this current kind of top contract, of course, with Kirill's got. But I think as the years go on, of course, it is pretty clear that the cap is skyrocketing up. Pretty much year after year, it's expected to go up about $10 million or so on average, pretty much per season going forward. And that number is only going to get higher and higher as the years go on. So I figured in today's video, we would take a look at all the New York Rangers players that have at least 3 more years left under contract currently heading into this upcoming season. And we're going to kind of talk about each and every one of these kind of medium to long-term deals and just talk about which ones are looking good right now and which ones could look even better as the years go on, or which ones maybe are a little worrisome kind of going forward as we are entering a really interesting time with certain contracts. They're going to get upwards and close to that $20 million mark per season. So it's pretty clear if you have a lot of guys that are locked up already on these long-term deals that have been signed from maybe a couple years ago or just got signed now and are on these, fairly reasonable cap hits. But of course, as the years go on, the cap continues to skyrocket up. These deals are potentially going to look better and better and better. So it is kind of a pretty beneficial thing to already have some of these players, top 4 caliber defensemen and, top 6 caliber forwards already locked up on some medium long-term deals. So let's get right into it here. And we're going to start off with Will Borgen, who ended up signing a 5-year contract extension with the Rangers throughout this past regular season with a $4.1 million cap hit. And honestly, when this official kind of trade went down there, the deal with Kaapo Kakko getting sent over to the Kraken for Will Borgen in that 3rd and 6th rounder, and of course at the time, Will Borgen was on an expiring contract, I was a little skeptical of that trade, but after seeing him play for the team for a bit there, and really after him signing that contract extension, I started to come around to the idea of it, and I think it ends up looking like a pretty great trade and signing for the Rangers. A $4.1 million cap hit for someone who is capable of being a second-pairing right-handed defenseman, I don't think is bad at all. Next up is Vincent Trocheck, who is clearly on a pretty amazing team-friendly contract. With the way things are going, he could easily get $8+ million if he were becoming a free agent, let's say, like throw this past offseason, let's say. He would have easily gotten around that $8+ million mark. I'm quite confident of that. This is truly a top 6 caliber centerman, a top 2 kind of line guy. He is easily capable of putting up, 60+ points in his season there while being a really good two-way guy. Good defensively, good offensively, can be on the power play, can be on the penalty kill unit, just an all-around really good player. And he's also, someone who, maybe a little bit undersized. Of course, he's not the biggest guy in the world, but he brings some feistiness, some toughness, some energy, some intensity to the play there. So I just think all around he is a really great player. And yeah, he had a bit of a down year this past season for sure for his standards, but I still think a $5.625 million cap hit for 4 more years is incredible. Like absolutely amazing for what current guys are kind of getting paid. Like Kirill Kaprizov got like 3 times the amount of money that Trocheck is getting paid. So I think it's pretty incredible what the deal he's on, and it's definitely a pretty great one for this Rangers team. And next up here, we've got Vladislav Gavrikov, who signed this offseason in free agency a 7-year deal with a $7 million cap hit. And when you take a look at what some other deals handed out were, guys like Cody Ceci and Ryan Lindgren both getting identical 4-year deals with $4.5 million cap hits, and a guy like Ivan Provorov got an $8.5 million cap hit as he was going to potentially hit free agency, but re-signed with the Columbus Blue Jackets. To me, a $7 million cap hit for a true top pairing caliber shutdown defenseman is absolutely amazing. And to me, this is truly one of those deals that already looks good, but is only going to get better and better and better as the years go on. Just after one season entirely, the cap's going to go up by like $10 million. So that completely in itself covers Gavrikov's cap hit, plus a little extra there. And when you consider that, like I said, guys like Cody Ceci and Lindgren only got $2.5 million less per season, I think it goes to show that the Rangers definitely made out pretty good with this free agent signing. Next up here, we've got Adam Fox, and this is an interesting one because I think as of right now, it's not some crazy team-friendly deal as of this exact moment, but I think when you take a look at it in a year or two, once guys like Cale Makar and Quinn Hughes have signed their extensions that are going to have a cap hit at about double what Adam Fox is currently getting, I think that's where this deal is going to look pretty incredible. Both Quinn Hughes and Cale Makar are entering this upcoming season with 2 more years left under contract. So after this upcoming one, Quinn Hughes and Cale Makar are going to need extensions. So what that means is they're going to sign their new deals, and what they're going to look like is something around that $20 million mark. I can guarantee it, if not even more than that, which it would not shock me at all if it was slightly above that potentially. So that's where I think it definitely goes to show that a guy like Adam Fox with that $9.5 million cap hit, as of right now, it might not be some crazy team-friendly deal, but in a year or two, once we're starting to see some of these crazy extensions handed out to defensemen that are about on the same level, and I'm not saying Adam Fox has been like as good as those two guys over the last couple of seasons, but, Foxy has already won in Norris above those guys and has been, right up next to them and close to them over the last few seasons. So I think Foxy is, of course, still a Norris caliber defenseman. I know some fans wouldn't agree with that, but that's just my opinion. I think he is still a really good number 1 caliber guy. And I just think in a year or two, once you're seeing these, about $20 million extensions and deals handed out to certain other Norris caliber defensemen, I just think this deal is going to look even better as the years go on. And next up here, we've got JT Miller, who has 5 more years left with an $8 million cap hit. And, I get it, he is getting up there in age, but this is not going to be a bad deal at all. Now, is it going to be some crazy team-friendly deal for a year or two? Maybe not, but in year 3 or 4 or 5 of what's left of this contract, I don't think an $8 million cap it's going to look that bad at all. Like I said, you're going to start to see some, $20 million contracts soon. And if a guy like JT Miller is still playing near this level, so we're talking about, around that point per game level there, while still being that 2A guy, bringing some toughness, physicality, leadership, firing the guys up, just being that intense player, I don't see how an $8 million cap it isn't going to look pretty good. So that's why I think in a year or two, this contract will look pretty good. And I mean, I know some fans maybe got a little worried about this contract and having it with Mika's, let's say, as the years go on there, because they have, the same amount of term left there, 5 years. Mika's got that $8.5 million deal. JT's got that $8 million deal, and they're both, on the wrong side of 30, but I just don't see how this contract's going to age poorly. This is not some player that I think should fall off a cliff in a year or two with his kind of play just because he's getting older. His style of play seems like something that can definitely translate as the years go on. And, to me, what he brings to this team, not only on the ice, but now off the ice, especially as a captain, I just think he's definitely going to be worth that money as the years go on. And, in year 3, 4, or 5, what's left of this contract, I think it could look really great for this team, honestly. Next up here is Alexis Lafreniere, and I'll be honest, as of right now, this contract isn't looking phenomenal, but if he does continue to progress, as I kind of am still hoping he will, of course, and will still be a, good top 6 caliber winger going forward with, the capability of putting up over 100 hits, being a, pretty physical player, if he can become a little more consistent overall with his all-around play and, be a little more locked in defensively at moments, I don't see why this contract is going to be a bad one. Maybe it won't be as good as I initially thought it could have been, but I don't see why Lafreniere still can't be that 60, 70, maybe even point per game kind of player. This is still someone who doesn't get a ton of power play time. He's still someone who puts up some really great point totals at even strength and at 5-on-5. So I think that's where, yes, I get Lafreniere's point total, especially from this past season, weren't phenomenal, but he still finished second on the entire Rangers team in even strength points, above a guy like Trocheck and, of course, everyone else as well. I mean, obviously behind Panarin, but he was still second on the team in points at even strength. So I don't think he's as bad as some fans kind of make him to seem to be, but I also understand he wasn't good last season and needs to be better, especially after getting that pretty big extension with, 7 years, 7.45 starting this year. It's a big deal. But I think as years go on there, once we start to see these $20 million contracts, stuff like that, and, lots of kind of not average guys, but, decent kind of star caliber guys get that $10+ million mark now, I definitely am going to start to think that this deal going forward at least has the potential to look really, really good if Lafreniere can become close to the guy that I still think he can become. Anyways, that's going to do it for today's video. If you have enjoyed, definitely don't forget to click that like and subscribe button for daily New York Rangers content, as I do post a video about the Rangers every single day at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And if you do have any constructive criticism or things, you think I can do to make these videos even better for all you watching them, then definitely comment that down below. I'm always looking to make my content even better. And, definitely also comment down below your thoughts on, these contracts in general. Which ones do you think are going to be looking good going forward? Which ones do you think are going to be looking bad? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll catch you in the next one. And let's go Rangers.